What can you buy for $3 million? Go ahead in your head. If you had $3 million, what would you buy? You can buy one Bugatti Chiron. You can buy 86 Model 3 Teslas. Or you can buy zero point 0.4 of Britney Spears' Thousand Oak Mansion she put on the market. Either way, the fourth thing you can buy, which is probably not what everyone was thinking, was Tumblr. And we're going to get into that today. Just really quick, this series is brand new. I'll be doing this. This is definitely what I'm most passionate about is business news. There's no real outlet for this. And if there's some weird political tilt. Not here. I'm just going to give you the business news. For instance, I got another segment coming up about GE and the massive, massive scandal brewing that everyone's going to wake up to. So I'm going to try to give you the story tonight. It's super late, but I thought I'd hop on and give you this. And this Tumblr one is really interesting because what's going to happen. So make sure to subscribe for all these. They'll likely be daily for a while. I want to see the response. So let's get into it, though. Make sure to subscribe below. Tumblr sells for $3 million. Now, it's worth noting with Marissa Mayer at the helm of Yahoo bought them for $1.1 billion. So let's actually go through the chain of events, and we can see the massive demise of David Karp's Tumblr. So this is news that came out, I believe, on Wednesday, but it was developing all Thursday, and it looks like it's all today, and it looks like it's final and everything's come out. So Yahoo bought Tumblr in 2013 for $1.1 billion, and they ended up only after like 2 or 3 years writing most of it off as a loss. Verizon then absorbed, of course, Yahoo in 2017. Verizon, essentially what they did was they took on toxic debt, and all this being reported by Tumblr and a couple of by Tumblr, by Washington Post. And that ended up being toxic debt. They wrote it off, and so this turned out to be really the nail in the coffin was in 2018 when they had their big, massive overhaul. Their strict policy change to ban nudity and any overt or discreet reference to sexual acts. Again, this was December 2017, so fairly recently. And then we saw like a massive hiatus, people everywhere just leaving the platform and going somewhere else. So once this basically happened, that was it. And as Tim Pool likes to say, get woke, go broke, which of course it's a bit of a stretch, of course, but really the story here, the business story and the takeaway is if you don't understand your audience, I think that's what you run into some problems. And this actually has a lot of implications when you think about your business and what you write about in your content. We end up helping a lot of our clients, and they say, well, look, I don't want to make videos about that. I don't want to make content about that. And you have to understand there's such thing as a sales cycle and a life cycle of your customer. They're on a journey, and you have to meet them on their journey. Sometimes that means explaining things. And if you think there's no profitability in explaining it, well, back off it. But I think Tumblr as a platform got away from Tumblr, and especially, and maybe that's not entirely true, but when Yahoo bought them, it was. When David Karp initially started them, I'm sure that's exactly what he pictured, and just to give people a creative outlet and the freedom to do and express themselves the way they wanted to. So that's really what it morphed into, and it snowballed basically until the demise, meeting the same fate as Yahoo, ultimately getting absorbed. But, Verizon essentially is just selling it, and who they sold it to, not to bury the lead, was the most interesting thing. So they bought it to the people that own WordPress, which is ultimately where you'll see this blog end up. I think, in my prediction for Tumblr is Tumblr will turn into something. It's probably going to be rebranded. It certainly won't be called Tumblr, but it will. There is a reason that Automatic wrote this, and I don't want to misquote him, but I'll include this link to this article. But I believe, the CEO, here it is, it's just fun. We're not going to change any of that. Really interesting. Really, really interesting about what he's saying there. I believe this is with reference to the site being free. So that's the extent of that comment that I'm comfortable saying. So I think that my prediction is this turns into more of an Instagram-like web-based approach to what Instagram is. And, you've already got WordPress, the most powerful blogging platform in the world. David Karp is quoted and still to this day talks about how he was trying to not compete with WordPress. And it turns out it doesn't matter. WordPress ultimately got what they wanted, and for pennies on the dollar. Imagine being able to buy one car for the same price as one of the most popular blogging platforms, blogging in air quotes, platforms in the world. So this is just insane news. Good for Automatic for swooping this up. This is an incredible purchase, and they're basically stealing it away. So I think this is another one that's going to go quietly because there's a lot of other things attached to it. But this is what happens when you don't understand your customer. You have to meet your customer where they are. And if you don't want something branded a certain way, you have to take intentional steps to guide the content the way you see it going. And this is what happens when you're not in control of your content and you don't have a direction in terms of where you're going, where's the profitability, where's the future, where's the lifetime value, and what's best for your company and your consumers. So make sure that when you're creating content, Instagram, whatever, you're blogging, you're putting sales copy, make sure you control the narrative. You're thinking about the long-term effects of everything you're saying, or you're going to end up like Tumblr, which it's just going to morph into something that you don't even ultimately want to write about, talk about your business. It doesn't help your business, and you don't want that. So appreciate you guys checking this out. I will be uploading these. I'm going to try to stick to a time. So for now, let's say 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Those will be the 2 times. You'll just get like a grab bag by surprise. I don't know which one I'll pick, but it'll be one of those 2. And I promise you for the next 7 days, depending on, look at the timestamp, hopefully this blows up. And in like 6 months, it's got millions of views. Who knows? But if you're into marketing and business news, make sure to check this out, guys. This really will be a fun take on what's happening in the world and what's happening in business, and just cutting all the bull crap aside, and let's just talk about what's happening from the world of normal business-minded folks. So thanks for checking this out, and we'll be uploading more content tomorrow, probably tonight with the GE stuff breaking. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. Thanks a lot, guys.